क्या बोल रहा है? So students, my video was. I just give me a few minutes. My audio will also improve in few seconds. The video is on. Yeah. The camera didn't get connected for some reason. I'm going to make. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Hello. Now I'm going to change my audio also. It should be real good. I wish there was some way of blurring the background, but this app does not have it. We'll get started in a few minutes, maybe 1 or 2 minutes, and we'll get started. I'm sorry for being late. I was stuck somewhere. And today we have user registration and user login as the concept. Ekta's error got resolved. What was the? How did it got resolved, Ekta? What did you do? Can you remind me of the error? Yes. Good evening, Vivek. I talked to the person in the team, and they're saying some problem is from your internet. Some kind of internet issue is there from your side, because on our side it is going well. Anyways. Okay. Maybe you can get a good internet. That's the first thing you can do. Uh, that's the first thing you can do to learn in this online mode, to get a good internet. Internet provider issue. Oh, okay. Okay. Yes, mine also. I replaced localhost with IP address. Then not okay. Good. Who was taking the doubt session? Mayank Best. Okay. Where was the spelling mistake? Sorry for spelling mis. Oh, anyways. Huh. Oh, GPT helped you. That is a good thing. That is a good thing, Ekta. GPT is very helpful. Yeah. Uh, I want to open two windows. Window. Okay. Uh, so I'll just talk about. I'll get started with today's lecture. And from today onwards, we will actually be building our app. Every day, we are going to build a little bit of app, and we'll see how it pans out in the long run. Okay. So, so today's topic is mongoose command in progress for last 25 minutes. Why is that, Nazmi? Why is that command in progress for last 25 minutes? Uh, it should not be like that. You might be locking, you might be creating some kind of lock. Uh, Maybe you are running were you running that command before also? Have you run that command 2 3 times? Maybe you have logged it in memory. I mean, it typically happens when your document gets a lock and then another process is trying to access that same document. For example, I try to find something. I try to update a document, and while I was updating, I abort the process in such a manner by clicking Control X, and then what happens afterwards is that that process has not logged that file, and now any other process will not be able to open it. That's the only scenario where that can happen. So try to see if any process is locking any resources on your computer. Okay, Nazmin? Yeah, that's one thing you can try. Okay, so web security and authentication. You know all the um, you know how it is these days. You need security on uh, whenever you are surfing on web. Most of the attacks that happen, so there are cyber criminals all over the world, and these are graduates from computer science, and what happens is they don't get job, or they think they can earn easy money by doing some cyber crime, so they get into these crimes. And so 99.9% of these attacks happen on the internet, because most of the frauds that you'll see will happen on the internet. Out of these frauds, most of these, like a lot of them, happen on the DNS services. Okay, whatever services are served by the DNS servers, because most of the traffic that goes on the network can be heard by some eve teaser, and that eve teaser can basically look at your document. So an important part of the whole process is to have security, and there are two phases of security. I'll talk about both of them. First is authentication, and second is authorization. Can somebody tell me the difference between the two? And backend is, if you are doing coding in backend, then understanding the difference between these two is a good idea. Authentication is who you are. Okay, that's a good thing. Who are you? That is authentication. Uh, or who are you? That is like, if I send my username, then I'm mentioning that I am. Suppose I send a username to my service that I'm unsure, then I am telling my service that the person that I am is Anshul. Okay, so that's how I tell the service. And then authorization is once authentication is complete, uh, the service will tell me what can you do. So it can tell you you can open, you can do CRUD operation, or you can delete the DB itself, delete DB, or you can have different levels of uh, access management, and that is called as authorization. Who can access the service, who can access the service, and what part of the services can a person access. So identify who are you, and I'll tell you what all you can do with your rights, usage rights. That's authorization and authentication. Now, do you remember there was this discussion? There must have been a discussion about MVC. Have there been a discussion about MVC? Can you tell me what is that? And model view controller. Okay, so there's this concept of model view controller. Why do we need this concept? This concept helps us in creating a structured program. Easy to maintain and modelization are okay, but what is more important is you want to create a structure into a program. You want to have a program uh, where you can abstract out certain what do I call it, certain parts of the program, or yeah, certain, you want to abstract out certain parts of the program or functionality of the program into different components, so that you can easily work on each of those components individually. And this is a this model view controller is, sorry to join late, actually I didn't know at today's class what I missed. Nilanjan, you have missed these two things. I was talking about authorization and authentication. Basically authorization is who are you, and authorization is what can you do. So access management is what authorization, what all you are authorized to do is authorization. And authentication is when I agree that the person you are claiming, uh, yeah, yeah, that's what I was discussing. And then I was discussing about model view controller. And in model view controller, I was talking about how you can structure your program. And most of the problems that you will see in architecture are best suited uh, for these pattern based thinking. Once you have a pattern, you can abstract out uh, based thinking. You can abstract out many functionalities of your system into well-defined buckets, and then these buckets can then interact with each other in the process. Okay. Okay, so no video is gone. No, I was just quiet for some time. Sorry for that. Okay, no worries. Let's create these model view controllers for our coding, our problem. We'll create a shorter, what is it called? Yeah, no, not this one. Stop sharing this. Every web application will have, there are other structures also which are not that common. There is also model view model, and there is yeah, a model. There are different ones also, but model view controller is very popular. Okay, so yeah, I'm creating in CRM app. I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to create a new folder and I'll call it 6, and I'll call it building the CRM app, uh, user registration and user login. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 20th of December. That should be good. Uh, so why is this not a valid name for a folder? Did I create? Oh, colon should not be there. A colon. I didn't notice colon. So this is how you create it. And I'm going to open this. And now I'm going to build it from scratch. So first thing first would be to cd into 6 dot. No, cd into CRM app. And inside this, I'm going to do cd into 6 dot something. Inside this, I'm going to do npm init. This is going to initialize a node app anytime. Package name is going to be CRM app, and I'll name it as 1, and version will be just 1.0. That's good. Description, I'll write the description as, just give me 1 second, let me close this. I'll write the uh, I'll write the description as model view template is where the view is very large and controller is very small. Anyways, uh, description is content from class on 20th December 2022. Entry point is Node.js. So again, we need to npm in this folder. Yes, you can go to this folder and do npm in it. We are going to start from starting. Test command we don't need. Git repo we don't need. Keywords we don't need. Author, say Anshul is okay. And license is ICSE. Okay, I'll just go yes this. And now I have a vanilla app built for me. A package.json file is there, and uh, build is there. Now the next thing I need to do is uh, I need to install some packages for this. One installation that I need to do is to install Express. Without Express, I cannot communicate, and I need Mongoose. So I'll just do npm. Somebody has said I is a good way. How to take path of that folder? How did you take path? I just did cd6 tab. So if I do cd dot dot, I go to the previous and I do cd 6 dot and tab, and that is going to take you to that folder. Okay, Anand, does that make sense? Tab is the key. The tab is the key you have to press. Okay, so now you have to install some modules. The first is node npm install mongoose. and the other module you do is Express. I installed both of them. That should take some time while it is running. Okay, so now the code got installed. Now that's good. Now if I open my package.json, it contains this and packet log.json, CRM app, registry, node module, crypto, AWS crypto, SDK. They have all those things. They have all kinds of modules. There should be a credential provider, IDM, uh, node is there, process is there. All the modules that you need are here, so you don't have to worry about it. Now, what is the next step? Next step would be to create. I'll start with a very simple app to get started with, and then slowly and steadily I will build on top of it. Okay, so I'll start here, and I'm going to create a simple file, and I'll just call it app.js. Very simple. Inside this, I'll I'll get the I'll get the Express framework. I'll create a, yeah, getter on the app, and that should be good. So I'll just do const express is equal to require. My video is gone. Is my video gone? No. I'm always scared if my video goes away. Anyways, so I'll just do require. I'll do express. Very good. Some of you those of you who are getting MongoD as a required option, that is also a available option directly using MongoDB instead of using Mongoose, but it does not comes with all the bells and whistles that you get with Mongoose. Anyways, so you define Express, and the next step would be to define something as const app as Express app, and then you can do app.get uh, app.get. Where did you get app.get? At this string, what am I going to get? I'm going to talk about what I'm going to return. So I have request, comma, response, and my response is going to be, and so uh, yeah, I can do console.log hello world. So what I'm going to do is, no, sorry, not console. I'll do response.send. Response.send hello. Very simple. It's a hello world program. It's a hello world program in Express. So that's how you write. And then all you need to do is app.listen. And can you first explain how will the flow of data in our login? How we plan to build it? Yeah, that is something I'm going to discuss just after this gets set up, because other students will take some time to set it up. In that time, I'll discuss how this data is running. Okay, is that okay? app.listen. I'll listen at 3000, and my callback will be just this console.log listening at localhost host 1000. I save this. I don't like this, so okay, maybe I can move this. So this is how you can write a simple program. Everything looks fine to me. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a node. I'll just uh, I'm going to do node app.js listening to localhost 3000. Okay. Now if I just go to localhost 3000, I think it would be. I mean that. Okay, you can write it like that. That's okay. I can just go to. Can open this window. I can share the whole window, and I can just go to local host colon 3000 http https colon local host colon 3000 this and very small. This is http. Let me try http. uh, what is the problem? Listening to localhost 3000. Oh, got it. Just write a forward slash in front of this. Sorry, let's remove this. http colon slash slash uh, localhost colon slash 3000 slash. No, no, I want colon slash slash. I don't understand this simple. No, this would. No, that not working. So is it no localhost? Let me stop sharing. Hmm, hmm. Oh, I was making. I was not slash slash. Yeah. No. Yeah. So it there should not be slash slash. I was writing some extra slashes. It is working for me as well for at 3000. It's just colon 3000. So I'll go back to the CRM app, and it should not be slash slash 3000. It should be just 3000. Save this and run it again. Control C, run it again, and this is fine. Okay, so I'll refresh it, and this is working fine. So this is how you can create a basic app. Now by the time all of you are just spending some time creating this app, let me talk about how we are going to deal with what we are going to work on today. So what we are going to do is we are going to define a model. We'll have a model. I'll show the code once. Not able to install Express. Why are you not able to install? What is the error you are getting, Vivek? Tell me the error. Showing. No, don't paste the error. Write what you understand about the error. Don't start a doubt on the error. I want you to write. I want you to be able to explain your errors in English. This is a very important skill that you need to learn. Otherwise, you will never be able to debug them on your own. You will always think there is some error, I don't know what it is, and you'll not be able to debug them. So try to assert something about the error. Try to say something about the error. What is the error? Why it is not working? And then probably I can help you. Okay. What is the error you are getting, Vivek? Same as yesterday. This is normal server creation code, right? Yeah, this is the basic server creation code. Yes, Deepak. Uh, Same as yesterday. What was the error yesterday, Vivek? I don't remember. Did you run VS Code as administrator? Try to run VS Code as administrator. Yeah, try to run VS Code as administrator, and that. I mean, these are tricky errors in Windows. I don't know why I use Windows, but there's no reason, absolutely no reason to use Windows. Anyways, try to write this. He wants to. Karan Gupta. Karan Gupta, are you able to complete? Can I stop showing? Okay. So just take a screenshot if you have not completed, and I'm going to stop sharing. Okay. So what we are going to do is in today's class, we are going to build we are going to have three things. One is the model. Model is something which is how your user model, or which is user collection should look like. Okay, that is your model. Then there will be a controller which will help you put things into the model, and this will help you in putting user into the model. It will help you in uh, uh, this will help you in putting users into the model. It will help you uh, in this will adding users. Add user will be there. There will be remove user. Password is valid, etc., etc. Okay. There will be a sign in API. Okay. You need a sign in API and you need a registration API. Okay. So these two APIs, signing and sign up. So these two APIs will be there in your controller. So we are going to discuss these two APIs. And the third thing that we are going to talk about is routers. We'll have some routers to go around in our app. Okay. This is the overview. Who was asking about the overview? Let me check. No, 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 no. Avijit, is the overview clear to you? These are the things we are going to do today. We'll have a user model. What is that called? Mongoose.model. We'll have a users mongoose.model, which will help us in saving users. And we'll have a way to sign in a user and a sign up of a user. Avijit. Yes. Okay. And then we'll have routers that will point to different APIs on our. Um, we'll have a we'll have two APIs basically today. One will be the sign up API and one will be the sign in API. And those will be the two APIs that we will work on. Okay. So let's start building rest of the application. First, I'll start building the model and we'll try to use the model. So first thing first, I'll create a folder called as models and it will contain all the models that I am interested in. So I'll come here and I'll have a folder inside this folder, which is called as models. I can also create views and controllers, but I'll just start with models. And this models folder will contain a file called as user. Okay, user model.js. So I'll have model, and inside this I'll have a file called as user. Yes, Likhit is saying something. Local is this correct? Yeah. Yes, correct. If HTTPS, if you're not getting. Yeah, that is true. Thank you, Anand. Okay, let me rename this. This will be user dot model dot js. Okay. How does the user model look like? First thing you will need the Mongoose framework. First thing you will need uh, Mongoose. For this, you will just do require and Mongoose. Vivek has a doubt. What is the doubt? I'll just answer the doubt. Can you use PowerShell for this, Vivek? I don't understand why there is Ming GW64 in front of this. Uh, can you use PowerShell and paste the same code? Oh, did you do? And he has done npm in it because there is package.json and oh, index.js. Have you? Okay, yeah, he has done uh, node uh, npm in it. Okay. I'll go back to my code. Hmm. I don't know what this Ming GW is. Why it is showing up in your showing up here in your terminal. So Windows has tricky errors. Those of you who are very serious about getting a job or who really want to do something in programming, make sure you learn Linux because Windows will cause errors which you will not be able to solve very easily. And uh, advantage of Linux over Windows, yeah, npm update is a good idea. Linux you can do a lot of development very easily. And the second thing is, so it's like this. In Windows, everything looks Windows give you an impression that things are working fine. Okay, but if something breaks, you don't know where it is broken. Don't understand how it is working properly. But if you are using Linux, You know how the things are working. Only condition is that you are reading properly. You are reading what is on your screen. If you're reading what is on your screen, Linux is best. Okay. Sir, but some people, MacBook can you tell why? MacBook, if you have money, you can use MacBook. If you have lots of money, you can use MacBook. But if you are serious about development, and those of you who want to go into, yeah, those of you who want to get into data science, make sure you uh, get a Linux computer. Okay. Data science is simply not advisable to do data science on Windows or for that matter on MacBook also. Okay. Yeah. So first thing is we need to define a schema for our user. And can you? Okay, same issue is coming. Uh, Let me check. Just give me a few minutes. Let me check this error. Unable to verify leaf signature. No. Unable to verify leaf, leaf signature. NPM error. Windows. Um, okay. I'm going. Just wait for a few seconds. Uh, I don't know. It's fine. No, no, no. Vivek, I know this is the second time which is happening with you. Let me tell you what you need to do. Uh, Try doing this. NPM config. This is because your SSL certificate is there's some problem with the certificate. So try doing this. NPM config set strict SSL strict SSL as false. Do this. Uh, Hello, Vivek, can you write this? Hello. Okay. npm config set strict SSL false. That is first step. Second step is npm cache clean force. npm cache clean force. Can you do this, Vivek? And tell me what is going on. Have you done both the commands? Now reopen the terminal and try to install Express. It should work. Uh, Vivek, did it work? Hello? Just run these two commands. Trying to, okay. Run these two commands, and by that time, I'll start creating the model that I was talking about. So once you're done with the two commands in Express, just let me know. User.model. So we have a file called user.model. In this, we have mongoose.schema. In this schema, we'll have name. Name will have its own schema, which is type will be string and required will be true. So name should be there. If name is not there, schema will not work. It is usually a good idea to write a comma afterwards. This also. Then user ID. This comma is why new keyword used here? Because you are creating a new schema. Mongoose schema is an object. You are creating a new object of Mongoose schema. Have you reopened the? Have you reopened that? Okay. What is that? You are getting the same error, Vivek. SSL certificate. Oh, then I'm not sure. Oh, what happened? Hmm, I'm not sure about it. Sorry. Okay. So we have not used yesterday. We have used it yesterday. I can show it to you. If I go to Mongoose and I go index.js, I have used. Oh, I have not used new. Why have I not used new? Uh, I'm not sure about that. In JavaScript, if there is a difference, uh, let me check. Start difference. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, maybe new. Just give me 1 second. Let me check. So if I do Mongoose schema, it's also going to create an object. Uh, okay, let me do it with Mongoose schema. Then I'll see why it does not. If it does not work, then we'll check it. Type is going to be string. and required would be true, and unique would be true. I don't like there's a space after these. Mm, New key. I'm not sure about the new keyword. Um, this is a class, so ideally it should have a new keyword. But if I don't use a new keyword, then also it is working. So, no, that's not true. I mean, both of them can be done with. Uh, okay, let me check. Let me check it. I've never thought about it. So, uh, yeah, I'll just comment this. I'll define a class. Hello, and in this class, I'll have a constructor. Say it's just console.log hello. And let me come here and do const new hello is equal to hello. I save this and I run this. Class hello cannot be invoked without new. This class cannot be invoked without new. So that's what I was thinking. Since it's a class, it should not be invoked by without new. If I just remove this uh, and I save this, I guess I can evoke this. Yeah, it can be evoked. So it is class-like thing. It's a thing which is similar to a class. It is a function which is similar to a class. Okay. So these are what do you call? These are first class functions in JavaScript, which are like objects but similar to object but like functions. So we need new keyword. Here we don't need new keyword. You don't need a new keyword to write this. Even if you write, that's not a problem. Both of them will compile. If you write a new keyword, it will work out. If you don't write, that will also work out because it is both a function and a class. Okay. Anyways, so this was user ID and you have password. It is type string and required is true. And finally, we have email, email, which is also type of string required required as true. And yeah, there's some more test cases about this. There is one thing which is lowercase, should be a lowercase string, should be a lowercase string, and it should be unique. It should be true. There's one more that is given in the text, but which is min length. Minimum length should be 10. I'll not take a email address less than 10 letters. But email letters can be less than 10 letters. So I don't like this, but since it is there, I don't want to touch it. Otherwise, later on, it might have problems. So, and you have name, user ID, password, email. There is something more. It's created at is of type date. Date is a type which is present in. So the properties defined inside name are Are these predefined and can we use any name? Can we set min length for password? Yes, you can set min length for password. What is meant by constructor function as its prototype? Uh, what is meant by constructor function as a prototype? So, okay. Yeah, this is this concept of prototypes in JavaScript. So what happens is I can define a function and then I can have prototypes on top of it. Okay. I'll show you how it works. So most of the code that you write, yeah, yeah, is email can't we use is email as true? No, the current I'm not sure is email is present or not. Nilanjan is the property inside. Yes, properties are no, these are defined by Mongoose schema. Okay. Uh, Nilanjan, these are properties that are saved in Mongoose schema. I cannot use something like ABC and think it will work. So this is a schema object. So if I write something like this and I try to run this, if I run this, oh, I'm not sure why it run. When I do his email is valid. Okay, I was not aware of that. Required true. Okay. So what is required true is okay. I'll come to this ABC in few minutes. Required true means that whatever object you are saving, you are going to it should have these fields. Without these fields, yeah, these are predefined keywords. That is true. You have seen them in the schema lecture that I have taken. Can we use sequelize? No, you cannot use sequelize with MongoDB or Adya. Okay, what is this and why we are writing? Sir, go with is email. Okay, I'll use. I don't mind that. Is email. Why? Because that means this should be. These are properties, and it means that this should be. This should be there. When I write is email true, it means that this email field that I am passing in my object should be yes sequelizes only for SQL DBs. That is right. Like Vivek, when I'm saying is email as true, that I'm saying what I mean by that is this email address should be of types, or it should follow the type of an email address. When I say that it is of type string, I'm saying that email I'm getting is at object, I'm getting a string type here. When I said required, it means there should be a email address in my document. If there is no email address, I will not accept that document. I will not let you write that document. If when I say lowercase, it means the whole string should be in lowercase. If there is any uppercase letter, I will not let you write. So those are the checks or validations that I am performing on each of the fields. And these fields are for my user object. Okay? Okay. Sure. Why is email? Is email is a field that according to current will work out. So is email is a field which will check if the given string is email or not. Okay. So they're all predefined. Yeah, they are all predefined. We are not defining them. Okay, Suraj. Now we have create at, which is date, and I'm writing something as immutable. You cannot change this field. No matter what, you cannot change this field. If you try to change this field, I'll throw an error. It is set to a default value, which is set to, which is a function from current value to return. I just do date dot now. Yeah. Hmm. What role created at? What role created at? What role does create I mean, it tells you when the user was created in our database. What was the time and hour? user registered. So for example, if you have seen lead code or maybe GitHub, it says you are on GitHub for last 3 years or last 4 years. Similar function will created at will play. It will tell you how long the user have been in the system. Okay, Suraj? Yeah. Updated at, and here I'm just going to do type is date and required and default is again date dot now. So will it automatically catch the creation time? Yes, it will catch at the creation time. It will automatically catch errors at the creation time. Okay. Every time you don't specify update at, I'm going to save it as date of current date. Whenever I'm updating my data, I'm going to save that date. And user type, need a user type, which is basically going to tell you what type of user I am having. Okay. You have a string. There are multiple types of users. You have admin, you have developers, and you have customers. So I'll define the default value as default is what you are going to save if nothing is provided. Sometimes when you make a sometimes when you make a field as required and then you don't provide a value, whatever is the value of the default, that will be taken up. Okay. And user status, this is the status for developers. Okay. Whenever there's a developer, you need the admin to accept the request. Okay. And default value, and now you might be asking this a question about, you remember the API I discussed in the first lecture, what all APIs I'm going to build on top of this? Do you remember? We had an API for creating users and signing them in. Do you want a short refresher on that? Let's do a short refresher on that in 2 minutes. That's gonna give you uh, that's gonna give you the overall picture of this. Okay. Now the final line you have in this is module module dot exports is equal to mongoose dot model user user schema. Okay, now let me talk about. So I'll just pause this here, and I'll just talk to you about prototype functions. Okay, what is prototype function? And I'm going to use a lead code example for this. Yes, explain user type. User type. I'm going to. It will make sense. It will make sense in few minutes. So immutable is something that cannot be changed. Let me go to lead code and explain you something about prototypes. Okay. So if I go to any problem and if I increase the size, yeah. So I click on this function. Okay. If I do say JavaScript, this is how JavaScript writes. This is how JavaScript writes. Um, no, this is not a good problem to explain. Let me explain another problem. Uh, Let me see. Let me click on a design problem first. So I'll expand this and I'll go to design. Design. And inside design, I'll look at a problem. Let's look at Minister. Okay. In this problem, if I look at JavaScript, There is something called as prototype. Min stack is a function, and then I can define bunch of prototype functions on top of it. These functions are attached to the object min stack. So function is also an object inside JavaScript. Okay, and I can define a constructor for this function, min stack function, and that is going to return the min stack object. So that is what that prototype is doing. Uh, does that make sense, Nilanjan? Who was asking that question? Likhit was asking, I guess. You can define prototype objects like this. Likhit, these are functions that are attached to objects. I mean, they're combination of function and uh, Likhit. Does that make sense? No? Yes? Yes. Okay. What will be the possible value of user stated? It will be either pending or approved. There are two values, and I'm going to explain this now. Just give me 1 second. Now I'm going to add some slides here from my computer. I'll upload a file, browse the file, and relevel intro. Let me do this. Let me see. Open this. Okay, this is the right file that I accidentally hit the right file. So we were discussing about CRM a few days back, and now I'm going to talk about I'm going to revise those concepts. Uh, there are admins, there are users, and there is application. This is this. Okay. So now you have three kinds of users: customers, admins, and engineers. Engineers and admins registration will be supported through API, but it needs to be approved by the admin. Engineers and admins need to be approved by the admin. Customer registration will be supported through API with no approval needed, so any customer can register. API supports admin login. API call should return the access token, which will be so you have admin login, customer login, engineer login, which will return access tokens that we need. So we are going to talk about access tokens later on. I'm not going to talk in the next class. We'll talk about access token. And login API will succeed if engineer registration requests have been approved by admin and proper error message in case admin has not approved or rejected the registration request. So today we are going to talk about sign in and sign up, and later on we'll talk about approval and other things. Okay. So these 2 points are what we are going to discuss. Now you understand what are the statuses that what can be the user status, pending or approved, rejected, pending, all of these. Okay, Satyendra, you remember, you understand the application better now, CRM app. Satyendra Maurya, are you able to understand why we need user status? Yeah, okay. So that's what we then we will get. Yeah, yeah, let's have a break, Weber. That is a good idea. You have asked at the right time. I was thinking of about it 1 minute back, but let's have a break. Break till. Yeah, I'm going to push the code. I yeah. Okay, okay. Just give me 1 second. Uh, is there is sir, there is customer engineer admin, then we are setting customer as default. Yeah, that we are setting customer as default because most of the time there will be a customer who will be logging in. Therefore we are serving customer as the default. If nothing is specified, you can think of it as customer. Okay, this is the code that I am adding. I cannot show the whole code in one window. I'm sorry for that. But I'm going to push the code now, and then you can check out the code. So I'll go to CRM app. This is the CRM app, and in this I'll do added user model. Coming to main. User type. Uh, user type is the type of user you have. Remember, user type is admin, customer, or engineer or developer. Remember, Suraj, engineer, user. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what user type is. User history. So we have created the model. Try to look into the model for some time. Try to run some commands to add the model or do something with the model. I'll also run this codes to show you that it is actually working. The code is working, it is not doing anything, but we have our model. Once we come back, we are going to create our controllers, and finally we will create our routers that are going to solve the whole problem. Now we'll take a break till 9:36 p.m. I'll see you at 9:36 p.m. Make sure you work on the code for some time, or maybe have dinner now. Okay, sure. Thank you guys. I'll be back in 15-18 minutes. Hello, students. I hope you're back from the break. Yes, okay. Uh, I'll share my screen. Share the screen. I open user module, and in this user module, I'll increase the font size. Uh, just give me 1 minute. Okay, now I think it should be hopefully better. Okay, let's add.
हाँ हाँ
Okay, we need to build controllers and routers. Yeah, that is true. Uh, I like DB connection. I think DB connection. Uh, DB connection is okay. We can build it in the app.js file. That's not a problem. Uh, Let me open this window. Sir, can you suggest me? Uh, I'm not sure about your problem, Vivek. Maybe it is coming. Can I reinstall? Uh, yeah. Or maybe you can install, I mean, you can start working on Linux if it is possible. Uh, Linux will help you. There's a Windows subsystem for Linux, WSL server. You can use that to work on Linux, and that is going to make you a much better engineer. Anyways, uh, so we have, if you can start working on using Linux, you will automatically become a very good engineer. Okay, so that's model, and now what we are going to do is we are going to define another folder inside this called as controllers, controllers. And in this folder, I'm going to define a file which is called as authentication.controller.js. Okay. In this authentication.controller.js, I'm going to define how I'm going to run the authentication, uh, how I'm going to run the authentication for the two things that I'm going to work on. So rest of the time that we have today, we'll spend mostly on this. So first we'll need a user user model. First we'll have to get the user model, which is user model user dot require. I can go dot models, and I can select user dot model. That is going to give me the user model. I'll need some more things. uh, I can define some constants. Okay, I can define some constants so that I can use them uh, in my controller. So for that, I'm going to define another folder which is called as constants folder, utils folder. Inside utils folder, I'm going to define constants. So it's utils folder, and inside this folder, I'm going to define something called as constants.js. This contains whatever is the constants of my code. For this, all I'm going to save is module dot exports is equal to. There are two things I'm going to export. First is user type, user types. What are the types of users I have? I have three types of users. One is customer, it is nothing but capital customer. Second type of user I have is engineer, engineer. So this is a way of saving an enum type. Okay. So if I do user type dot customer, it is going to return me the string customer. When I do user type dot engineer, it is going to return me engineer. Okay. And there will be another user type called as admin. Okay. So I'll just do admin colon admin. These are the user types I have. Good. And the next thing I need apart from user types is user status. Okay. And those are also of few types. One is pending, which is pending. Sorry, pending. The other is approved, is APPRODED. I have approved user, and the last one is rejected. Is rejected. Utils is another folder. Yes, current. Utils is another folder which contains all the things I keep as my utilities. Typically, when the project grows, you will have lots and lots of these settings that you want to save somewhere, some kind of constants that you want to save somewhere. All of those constants can go into the util folder. Why are we predefining user status? Because we want to use these constants. Nilanjan, we are going to use, these are the constant. There are only three types of user status and they are pending, approved, and rejected. Where are we going to use it? We are going to use it directly in our controller. I'm going to show you the code for controller and it will become clear. Have you written the code for constants? Can I get a thumbs up? Okay. So now I'm going to define the controller for the authentication. Um, so there are two functions in the controller. Um, so util folder only uses user type and yeah. Util folder has only used for user type and user status. No other use for now. Later on, we might use it for other things, but right now it's the only use. Okay, Suraj? We can define them anywhere, but it's a good idea to put them in proper folder. Now, in this, you can have user type, user types, require, dot utils slash constants, and then you can have constants as required constants as well. Or you can do user status also, but constants is also okay. Uh, I don't mind using user status, user status. Show how utils. Utils is a function which contains a file constants.js. And why are we using utils? Because I don't want my constants to be hanging around in my controller. I don't want my controller to have these details. This controller should not have constants hanging around. These are the constants. These strings that I'm using. I don't want my DB to contain three different spellings of customer. I don't want my DB to contain this customer as well as customer as well as customer. I don't want this to happen on my DB. It can easily happen. Can you see that? I can easily have three different types of customers. I don't want that. When you are saving data, you need one place where you are saving the constants. Constants are things that don't change. I'm going to define my user type customer with this string customer. I don't want it to change. So I save it in a file called as constants. And when somebody looks at a file called constants, they realize that uh, these things should not change. Okay, so that's constants and that's user type and uh, user status. Why? You remember the use case when engineers are there and they need approval of admin before they can join the system? You remember that use case, Vivek? When I had a use case where if engineers are there, they should get approval of admin before signing up. This is for that only. You need an approval of the uh, admin. Okay, so that's constants. Let's go back to controller, and you have user type, user status, and there are a few libraries you will need, which is one is const of bcrypt, which is an encryption library. You don't want your password to be floating around in the you don't want your password to be floating around in the internet. So you want to encrypt it, decrypt.js. This is one library that you need. Now I need to install this, so I'll just go here and control C this, and I'm going to do npm install the .js, and that should work quite well. Yeah. Okay. So this is how you can add bcrypt also. Okay. Just install bcrypt library. It's just one command. Could you share the constant.js file code? Okay, I'll share that. Okay, that's okay. Control A, Control C. Come here and click I agree and paste it and enter. I've shared it and I'll pin this. Okay. If you click on more, then you can see it. Okay. Going back to the code. Mm, Code to install bcrypt. Code to install. You should be at this point. You should not be asking questions like this. You should have what bcrypt will do. Bcrypt is going to encrypt your password. All you need to do is this function npm install bcrypt.js. Okay, npm I bcrypt.js. So yeah. Anyways, that's how you install any package. So I'll ask another one for JWT. Am I using JWT token right now? Let me check. I don't think so. I don't need JWT token. Okay, I'll need it. So I'll also have JWT, which is going to require JSON. We need to return web token. So initially we'll just return a simple token. Later on we'll return more complicated token. JSON web token, and I'll have to install this also. Now all I need to do is npm install JSON web token. This should work. If this does not work, we'll check what to do, and it get installed. Very good. So JSON web token is also installed. Now the last thing we need is uh, config file. Const config. We are going to configure our. We are going to save a. I'm going to define. Okay. So now I'm going to share something. Sir, why is given variable can take latency? Oh, why did I make it var? It should be a const. Should be const. Sorry for that. Uh, Now inside this, I'm going to again define a folder called as configs. And inside this, I'm going to save all the config files that I'm interested in. The most important right now is auth config or .config.js. In auth.config.js, I'm just going to keep a secret key that I'm going to use here. Later on, I'll use some other secret key, but right now I'm keeping a secret key, which is module.exports. Exports, and I'm going to keep a secret key, which is secret colon until secret until other key. Let's have this key as let's have this string as our secret skin is a string that we are going to use. So I have done few things. I have defined a config file with a secret. Ideally, you will not configs is a new folder. Yes, configs. So I'll walk you through all the folders that I have. I have a config folder. I have a controllers folder. I have a modules folder. I have a utils folder. Node modules folder is already there. Okay. For controller, I have two more folders, config and util. Does that make sense, Nilanjan? Utils contains my constants and config contains a secret key. I'm going to make sure that I don't expose this configs folder on my GitHub. So no, I mean, I will expose for you guys, but if this was a production system, config.js or config.js. Okay. Why are we using secret key? Because we want to keep our JWT token as unique as possible. Okay. We need a secret key between us and the user. We have to add it for no. Yeah. Right now we don't have to do it. Right now I'm not going to do it. But in production, you will typically hide these secret keys from all the users. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Okay. So config, get the let's continue our controller code. Controller is going to be a little heavy code. Let's spend some time on this. Okay. So now what you are going to do is, so we'll not put config in Git. Right now I will put, but in production you will not put. Okay. Or you will keep it secret somewhere so that it's not exposed to everyone. Okay. So now you'll have configs, and inside configs you'll do raw config. Those are all the installations. Now let's look at sign up. Exports dot sign up. Say gn up. Sign up is a function that I'm going to export from this. This is a async function, and these async functions have a request and a response. now. Now there are few things. You can write any secret key you want. It's right now I'm just writing Anshul Yadav key, but you can write whatever you want current. Okay. Okay. Let's go back to the controller code. How are we going to write our sign up function? There is only everything else we'll get from the body, and we'll create our object. If we don't get everything from the body, we are not going to create our body. Oh, okay. Can you show the secret key? Okay. So here is, just give me 1 second. Yeah. So first thing, first logic. Let's look at the first logic. First logic is this, and we'll have something called as let user status. What is the user status? That is going to be request dot body dot user status. Okay. If not user status, if user status is undefined, and you need to decide the user status. User status is the only thing. Let's go back to the model once. Let's look at the model. In this model, look at this. User ID, name, password, email address. Created at, updated at, user type. All of these things have to come from the user. Okay. Sometimes user type will not come. We can also use environment file to keep environment variable such as C. Yeah, that is also true. Okay. Oh, anyways, uh, so all these will come, but user status we will have to calculate. All other things we can get. So I'll just make that smaller for you to see. These are the fields that we need in our user document, and out of these fields, I'm saying that we'll make sure that everything we get except for user status. Either we'll get these values or we have default set for them. Now coming back to controller, if user status is not set, then you have two options. If request dot body dot user status user type, if user type is not set, explain this logic. Sir, explain me this logic. Yeah, just let me write this if condition, Vivek, and then I'll explain it a little better. Okay, just let me write this if condition. So if user type is not given, or request dot body dot user type, if the user type is not given or user type is actually equal to uh, user types dot customer. If user type is customer or it is not given, these two conditions, I'm going to use alter side. Okay, I'll make it move it to the new line. If it is user's customer, or if the user is customer or its type is not given, which is not given, if either of these two cases are there, then customers don't need an approval. So I can directly do user status as Yeah, state user state user. Uh, okay, that's the problem. Uh, okay, I'll just come here and define this user status as constants. Constants. I'll say constants dot constants dot user status dot approved. I'm going to auto approve anyone whose type is either customer or the type is not given. If this is not the case, then I'm going to do user status as constants dot user status dot ending. Okay, these are the two options that I have. Does that make sense, Vivek? If you don't give me the user type or the user type is customer, in that case, I'm going to set it as approved. Otherwise, I'm going to set it as pending. Later on, I'll create an API that will actually going to approve any pending status. Okay. If admin wants to approve a pending status, he can approve it using that API. Vivek, are you able to follow? Okay. Now we are going to create uh, an object that we are going to send as a user. Sir, model status are you saying? Yeah, model user status. I'm going to share what I'm going to save in the model. Just give me 1 second. I'll create a user object for the user. By default, user type is customer and user status is approved. Yeah, that is correct, Satyendra. Okay, that is correct. Uh, okay, you don't need to check. You can check it like this also. That's okay. You can code it a little better. This is more explicit. You can make it more implicit by saying if user type is if request dot user type request dot user type is equal to uh, user types dot engineer or no, or not only engineer or request dot user type. Either engineer or a new admin is joining. Both the cases, I'll have to do. Uh, I'll have to make it pending. This is also a valid way of saying the same thing. Okay, does that make sense? So then, not just engineer, but if it is admin, you have to do use user status as pending. Okay. Uh, else, else what you can do is you can do user status as customer constants dot user status dot approved. This is also one way. I'm saving approved because I'm going to use this user status in my user object. If I were not to use it, I'll not do it. But since I'm going to use this user status, I'm going to make it as approved. Okay. Yeah. I'll make it more explicit. I'll have name. After we're done with it, please briefly explain how flow is going, as this is going over my head. Okay. After we are, let me write few. So, are you able to understand that line number 12 to 19, Nilanjan? Are you able to understand line number 12 to 19? Something. Okay. You will understand more about sign up process as I write rest of the code. Okay. Once I write the whole sign up code, it will become more clear. As so, a code is a piece of software which is completely in it. So I'll define a user object. Let me not write it right now. I'll define a user object, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do try. I'm going to write a try block, which is going to do const user created is equal to await user model dot create user object. I'm going to send this user object. I need to write it like user object. I'm going to create a user object, and if that user object is getting created, uh, I'll create a response for this. After a user object gets created, I'm going to do const uh, post response. In the post response, I'm going to send I'm going to send an object. I'm going to discuss these objects in few minutes, and then I'm going to do response dot status. Sorry, yeah, status 01 dot. We will not send user status, so we don't need to check that. Okay, because actually creating user, do we need to check the user status? Before creating the user status, do we need to check the user status? No, because uh, if you are creating a new user, you don't have to check the status because that user is not present yet. If the user is already present, you are not going to create because all the user ID and email address has to be unique. Okay. So user cannot be present at the time of creation. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah. So now status is 201 and then send. In the response, I'm going to send post response. I'm going to discuss what I'm going to write in post response and user object, but let's look at rest of the code before doing that. If there is an error, if there is an error, all I'm going to do is console.log and I'm going to write something went wrong while saving to DB, and I'm just going to do error.m message. I'm going to show the message. This is my, if there is an error, I'm going to do this. And if there is an error, I'm going to paste this in the console log. And my response in this case is going to be status will be 500, which means internal server error. And I'll just send a message. It says, I don't send error message. Never send your error message as the response code. That's not a good idea, Karan, because you don't know who is calling your API. So that is a security threat, and you can lose your job if you do that. So don't do that. Write it like this: some internal error while inserting uh, inserting the user inserting the element. That's good. Okay. So that's most of what our security threat, because it will return that you are using MongoDB. For example, if you return error.message and that says in the user table of MongoDB this happened, then somebody knows about your system that you are using a MongoDB, and in that MongoDB you have a user table inside this collection. So that's a security threat. Now they can exploit the system somehow. There's a question. Ekta is asking a question. Yes, Ekta.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, Ekta.
So, on line number 13, like you have used only the enum user types dot engineer, and also on line number 14,
Yeah,
you're checking with user type.
yeah.
So, like, why are we, since we have two enums, user types and constant.
Hmm.
So instead of using a constant dot user status dot pending on line number 15, can't we simply do constants dot pending? Because even in my VS Code, it's showing the same recommendation. Why have we used an like extra user status here? Because the
Because we
name.
want to, because constant is not explanatory. Constant is not self-explanatory.
Okay, okay.
So if I
So
say constants dot pending, I don't know which constant. I have so many constants. I don't know which constants I'm talking about. But
okay,
when I say
so yeah.
constants dot user status, what it means is
Hmm.
out of all the constants, I'm talking about user statuses.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
Also, so one last question. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
since
you
we
can
have
ask as
named,
many questions.
yes, sir. Since we have named one of the enums as user types, like, can't we simply name it as user status? Uh, the
No, that
second
is
one.
because there is already a user status here. No, I did that earlier.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Yeah, even I did that, sir. I'll also change it
Yeah,
back.
so that user status is going to cause a problem. Therefore, I had to do constant dot user status.
Yeah, okay, sir. Thank you.
Sure. Very good questions. You are a keen observer.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
So you can end the call from your
Yeah,
end.
yeah, yeah. I remember. Okay. What constant doing? Constant is saving something. So Vivek, this is something called as. I could have written it like this. Vivek, I could have written this whole code as this. I could have written it like ending. This is perfectly valid, but it is hell. It is a very bad code. Never write a constant somewhere in your code. Have a proper place for your constants. It is like, I mean, if I do that, my code will become very bad. Okay. So therefore, always use constants from a given location. Does that make sense, Vivek? And you cannot directly use user status because user status is already the name of a variable in this function. Does that make sense? You cannot use. No. Okay, can you unmute yourself and ask the doubt? It will be very difficult to explain otherwise. I hope your mic will work. Yes. Okay, please unmute yourself. Okay, so user object, and in the user object you will have name, you will have user ID, you will have email, you will have user type, right? You will have password, and you will have user status. Okay. Explain line number 17. It says if it is neither admin or engineer, then approve. If user status is not already set and the type is not engineer or admin, just set the user status as approve. Okay. It is another way of saying if the user is a customer, approve his status. Does that make sense, Suraj? Okay. Hmm. Yes, Vivek. Hello. You're not audible. Abhijit has a question. No. Use Vivek. Do you have a? Can you unmute yourself? I don't know. His mic didn't work. Anyways, so let's create the user object. In user object, you will have request dot body dot name. This code will be very simple. Take the user request body and put it in the user object. So you'll have user request dot body dot user ID. Then you will have request dot body dot email. User type is going to be request dot body dot user type, and you'll have decrypt dot hashing. What does hashing do? It generates a hash function for a given string. So why are we writing line number? Will we pass the status while creating? Yes, we are going to pass the status. Yes, like it. We are going to pass the status. I'm going to show you here. Has sync. We are going to create a request dot uh, body. Sorry, body dot password comma 8. I can send a salt. Let's have it as a salt. Okay. Why are we writing line number 10? Because of this user status. We are sending a user status while we are writing it. Then we pass user type as admin and status approved. Then we become admin without approval. Uh, if I send approval, that is true. That is true, Likit. Yes. If we use user type as admin and status as approved, then we become admin. So we don't need this condition then. We don't need this condition. Sorry. Okay, I can do this. I think this if condition is not here. That is true. You should pass the status. Uh, that is a good design choice, by the way. That is a good uh, yeah. That is a good design choice from you. Let me see. In password will it be a hash instead of hashing? No, it will be a hash. I mean, this function creates a hash. This generates a hash of a given. You can also have hash. Let's see hash. What does hash do? Asynchronously generates a hash. So I want this to be sync. I want it before that. Okay. There is asynchronous. Let me look at the. What is this code about? Let me answer the doubt. Uh, Stop sharing. What is which code are you writing about this? I don't know. This is somebody else's code. I don't know why you're writing it here. Uh, let me invite Vivek one more time. Explain Likit point. Likit is saying, Likit is pointing to, Likit is pointing to,
Sir,
hello. Yes, yes, Vivek.
sir, can you show
Yeah.
screen?
Yeah, tell me.
No, can you show VS Code? Actually, I'm saying.
Okay, VS Code. I opened it on my own. Uh, Window and this one. Yeah, I'm going to screen share. Is it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tell me.
Why we are using here constant dot user status approval?
Okay. What else will you want to use?
Why cannot the user directly a user status pending?
Because user status is a variable here.
No constants. Why we using here?
If I remove this, suppose I remove this, what does this line mean? User status is a variable. I understand. What you are saying is I come here and make this as user status. This is what you are saying?
No, and I didn't get why this constant. That's why I'm saying.
You don't understand why am I using constants?
Yeah.
Why can't what else do you want to use? What other options you have?
No means I didn't get what is the meaning that constant
No,
to
no.
use there.
Okay, okay, okay. Just tell me one thing. If you have some settings that you want to remember about your code, okay? For example, there are three types of status: approved, pending, and rejected. And there are three types of users: admin, engineer, and customer. Okay.
Okay.
Now there are these three people and three types of people, and there are three types of statuses. Okay.
Okay.
Where are you going to remember this information?
One specific person.
One. Where are you going to remember this information? Hello, Vivek, are you there? Uh, you went off. Okay, I'm not going to define user status. I'll let me explain like its point once Vivek comes up. Yeah, he's here. Yes, Vivek,
Yes, sir.
tell me, what is the question?
I said constant, not getting.
Yeah, I'm asking you a question. Where will you save this information? I have this information. I have three types of strings that I want to save. Customer slash engineer slash admin. These are the admin. These are the three strings that you can save in your database. Okay.
Yes, sir.
You understand this part?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, if you, how are you going to remember this information that there are only these three types of users? Try to think about a solution. Don't think that my solution is the best. Try to think how you will remember this in your code.
Using a specific folder on.
Okay. So I create a folder called as constants, utils. I create a folder called utils, and I decide I am going to save this information in my constant.js file that I have user types, and there are three types of user: customer, engineer, and admin. Does that make sense, Vivek?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I can save this kind of information in a file separate from rest of my code.
Okay, sir.
Now I can use wherever I want, I can use that information. And if tomorrow I want to say that my use customer should not be spelled like this, it should be spelled in like this, I can just go to my constant and change it. I don't have to change it thousand places. If I were using a string, this can easily happen. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So that's the reason why I have constants as. Now, do you understand what Likit was saying about user status?
Line number 10.
Yeah.
Let the user status. Yes, sir. And sir, line number 19 const user object.
What is the user object? It's an object that I send to create my it's like an object that I send to create my user document. You see, user is a object of type user model, I get the user model in user, and then I send my user object to that model to get it
Yes,
created.
yes, yes. And sir, why we use here try and a catch method?
Because what if the DB returns an error? Like many of you are facing some kind of error from the DB. You don't want your code to crash. You just want that particular request to crash. Okay.
Crash means which type of error they are showing?
Now, if suppose DB is down, suppose tomorrow DB is down, and you try to do user dot create, then what will happen?
Then it will not create.
It will not create. But if you let it run in your code, then what will happen? If you don't use a try catch block, then your code will stop.
Yeah.
You don't want your code to stop, so you use try catch block so that you can catch the error.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Let me write the response. You understand rest of the code? Object, user object, and I create the user object. Then response is basically what I got from the once you create an object using user.create, you get a response which typically contains the whole document that you have sent. Okay. In this, you will have email, you will have user ID, you will have user type, uh, uh, user type as user created dot user type, and user status is user created dot user status, and we'll also send the created date created at which is user created dot created at comma uh, updated at is user created dot updated at. Okay, this is the same ditto same response that you get and save it in an object. Do you understand what I'm doing here? I typically should have a better way of doing this, but let me do it like this. Okay. Vivek, do you understand what I'm doing here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is the whole code for sign up. Okay.
This is the whole core of sign up.
Yeah, that's all you need to do in sign up. Okay.
Okay.
Now I'm going to create a router. I'm going to connect yeah, I'm going to create rest of the code that is going to connect to this code, and let me run this code today. Okay, I don't think I'll be able to do the sign. Get confused. Likit constant dot user is coming from the file constant. Yeah. But user status in line has some variable, same variable name. So he's getting confused. Oh yes. He's confused because he forgot about object property. He's always confused. Listen, I'm sure he can clear his doubt. Better clear rather than listen. What if we return created data actually? It will have more data, Likit. It will have data about the object ID, etc. Again, the security issues will be there. We send the user created? No, no, that is not good. We can use response user create. No, that is not good. Why don't we use let status only instead of let user status? Then it will be easy to. Uh, that is okay, but there can be a possibility that you can confuse it with the status of your some other status you can confuse it with. Typically, if you are calling user status as something, you want to call it consistently everywhere. If you're calling it user status in your constants, you want to call it here as well. Yeah, I'm going to share the try block. We need to deconstruct user status and from the yeah, that is true. We need to do that. Line number 10. No, we don't need to do that because we are not taking user status. Because we are importing user status from constant. Yeah. True. Okay, this is the try catch block. And now I'm going to show you the code for running this code. Okay. Mm. So I'll go to app.js and we'll run this code. Let's look at running this code. Let me start from this. First thing we'll need is const server config. We need to configure our server. This require in server config we are only going to save port. I'm not going to use it. Let me just let me check. Server config is not. We can use it. It's okay, but you will again get confused about it. So I don't want to use it. Um, db config we need. We need a file called as db config, which is actually require dot configs dot slash db dot config. I'm going to define a file inside my config, which will contain details about my db. So I'll do db dot config.js. Okay. What am I going to save in db config? Let me show it to you. I need only two things to save. First thing is what is my DB name. Second, what is the URL. So I'll do module dot exports as a document, which is I'll have DB underscore. I'm writing capital because it is a constant. DB name is CRM underscore DB, and you'll have DB underscore URL, which is Mongo DB this local host colon 27017 slash crm crm underscore db. Let me check if this is the correct URL. I am 90% sure it is correct, but um, Mongo campus. Let me open Mongo campus. Hmm, yeah, that is correct. This is correct. Localhost colon 2707. No, this is correct. So I have saved my DB URL as well as this one. Let me connect with this. And let me just okay. So that's how my DB exports will say look like. Let me go back to this app.js file. Now I'm going to create a route from this file to that file. So I'll have const mongoose as require. This is going to be used to connect mongoose to the DB. We'll also need user model. Okay, I'll do that. Express decrypt. Okay, we don't need any of that. Okay, so now We'll have a function called as, first we'll have to connect to Mongoose. For that, we are going to do uh, mongoose dot connect dbconfig dot dburl. Okay, connect to the dburl, and uh, now this is now you can define once db is equal to mongoose dot connection, and then you can say if connection was established, db dot on error. On error, what you're going to do is console.log uh, can't connect to db. That is one, and there's also db dot once. If db is open, once it is open, if it is open, then you can do connected to, sorry, not connected, console.log connected to mongodb. Okay, I've established the connection with db. All I need to do is call that function. You on use for error. Yeah, no, those are keywords. If db is returning on, then you can do error. I mean, it's very similar to the then keyword. Okay, it's how you can connect to the db. These are events. Yeah, yes, Abhijit. These are responses that you get from the promise, which is connection. Okay. Anyways, it's not even. It's similar to a promise. Once it gets connected, it's open. Once it gets an error, it returns an error. Anyways, so that's how the DB is looking like. Now the last thing you need to do is you need a way of connecting to the sign up folder, and for that we are going to use. I will ideally want to use routers, but I'm not going to use routers right now. I'm just going to use a post method. It's very simple. Post on CRM slash API slash auth slash sign up. Okay, sign up. Exactly. We are going to discuss routes. Is it default responses? Yeah. Yes, Ariel, those are default responses. On sign up, all you're going to do is you're going to call a function that you have already defined, which is this function. Uh, auth. You're going to get the auth controller, const auth controller, just require dot controllers. No, dot controllers auth controller. Get the auth controller, and on sign up, you are going to send auth controller dot sign up. Auth controller dot sign up. This is the post method you have, and you are going to listen at port 300. Very simple. I'll save this, and now I'm going to run this code. So I'll just come here and I will do the same command, which is first of all enter. I'm going to do node space app.js connected to MongoDB and listening to port 3000. So now my uh, code is running. Now I'm going to show you, or okay, Suraj, that is nothing. I'm just sending this function. So all I'm doing is routing my post request on this URL to sign up function. That's all I'm doing. App.post express is my framework, which is used for routing my request from a URL to a function, and I'm sending this request to this function. That's all I'm doing. Now I'm going to demonstrate how this request looks like. And uh, for doing that, I will open Postman. Yeah, I'm going to open Postman. So I'm going to share the whole screen, and hopefully Postman will work out. I'm sure that it will work out. Why will it not work? So I'll just click here. I'll just click here and do Postman. Postman. Hopefully the app will open up. Hmm. No. Yeah. This is the Postman app, and it has already connected to CRM. Let me close the connection. Let me come here and write 3000, 3000, and API, CRM API, CRM API auth sign up, CRM API auth. Let me increase the size of this. Yeah, I don't want this connection. So how do I remove this part? Anyways, I can do this. Yeah, auth and SIGN. Let me reduce this and could put it here, and let me see the code. Now this is where you are going to hit. Now this process will require you to, first I'll send a simple code. Hmm. Oh yeah, post. This should be post and body and form document data. So body is required. Body is required. You are going to send a pair of key value pairs. You remember this code here? You remember when I have the controller, and in the controller when I'm doing this here, request.body.name, user ID, email, and user type. I have to send these things, password, user type, email, user ID, name, into my user object. Does that make sense? Sakib? Sakib? Does that make sense? Do you understand why body is required? Yeah, okay. So now I'm going to write name as Anshul. Uh, Second is uh, what happened? Your name is there. User ID as 1, and what else do I have? User type. User type is customer. And some of you might be thinking, how will we check whether user type is of the proper type? We'll have a middleware layer. Sometime later, we'll write a middleware layer. I don't have time today to write that middleware layer, but you can have a middleware which are going to check the request word by word. Okay, user ID, name, user type, and email and password. So, email. I'm going to use my personal email, Anshul Yadav. I'm going to use Anshul Yadav at gmail.com. This is not my personal email, but anyways. And then final is password, which is say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let me show the whole query to you. These are the 5 things that I'm sending in my query at this URL. And if I click on send, let's see what response I got. Parents. Response is here. What is the problem? Send again. Could not send request. Let me try the get method. Let me create another one. HTTP localhost host colon 3000, and in this uh, let me come to app dot. Here is app.js. There was some problem. What is the problem? Could not read property of undefined name. Uh, request.body. Uh, why is this causing a problem? Before that, did I send something? I was listening and then controller. Let me print the body once. Let me go to controller. Come here and print. Oh. Console.log request. Run. And now go back to this. Go back to this and send one more time. And let me see the response. Uh, no, I have to start the process. To do this, now it is listening. Now I come here and run this, send this, and I got an error. Error is cannot get, no, not get, post, send, could not get response. Let me check the error. Request body has route. Where is the body? HTML header server, store events, command. Socket. Okay. incoming message, readable store, event count, next step, count, on server, answer. Where is body? Hmm. Okay. Okay, this should not be request. Okay, that's the problem. It should be rec. Not write it as request. Hmm. D, 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 D. It should be request. And where is response? It should be res. Okay. Save this. And one more time. .js. And send it one more time. Why is the response not coming now? Route socket response. Where is the request? Hmm. Yeah, here is the request. Request is circular. Socket. Hmm. Found it if I do not. Found it header control type application keep allow. I don't need this. Just click on this. This is x-axis token. I don't need. Let me send it again. No. Okay, let me create the get method first and see if there is problem with uh, if there is a problem with Postman. So I'll just do app dot get and try to get it on the colon, and I'm just going to do a function which is request comma response, and it's just to console. Uh, it's just going to request dot send. Sorry, response dot send. Hello, hi. Let me see if this is working from there. I'm going to check the comments in few seconds. Just give me a few seconds. And if I run this is good. I come here and send the request, and I get the highest the response. So this is working properly. Now, the question is coming why this is not working. Params. Let me write the params as name, answer, and send it one more time. I got an error. Hopefully a new error this time. No, I'm not able to read the body of the request. Post not true. Let me see if somebody has a solution for this. Uh, no, let me check from starting. In this form data, is this form data or no? Which line? Ubuntu is something I recommend, Vivek. Yeah, JSON is something I have to send. Form data is the problem. Now I got the problem. Let me check with JSON. Is there a JSON type? Header? Uh, no. Just give me 1 second. Let me check it in my notes. Just not this. वही लगा रहा हूँ just give me 1 minute. हाँ इसमें पापा भी 2 थे एक भी हाँ एलिफेंट बनाया ये अपने छोटू को भी नहीं ये 60 ईयर वाला नहीं वो नहीं मैंने बोतल ले लो ये डॉक्टर वाला है वो वाला है हाँ I'm doing correctly. एलिफेंट आपका एलिफेंट कहाँ बना है no. I'm not able to send the request. No. I'm not able to send the request for some reason. Raw. If I do raw, okay. Let me do raw. That is better. I think that is the solution. You need middleware. No, I'm not. I'm sending the post request. Sir, body inside row and change the JSON type. No. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just do like this. I'm going to do like this. And here I'm going to do name as Anshul. I save this. No, I just cancel this. And I send. Let me run the app. Let me come here and run the app. Now it is listening. Now I go to Postman and send this. And hopefully I got a new error this time. Body request body as name. No, it is not coming. Body is coming as undefined for some reason. Uh, this is JSON, which is okay. I'm not sure. I'll have to check. Then write express JSON. Nilanjan is saying something. What is Nilanjan saying? Express your JSON. Okay. Uh, I don't know why that was there. Express. Oh, oh, that one. Sorry, I didn't use the use function there. Where is that? Okay. Yeah, I ignored that part. Sorry. Sorry for that. Huh. It's okay. So I'm going to do app.use express JSON. If I save this, uh, this should work. I come here, do this. It is running. I go to Postman and I send this request, and I should get a new error. What is the new error I got? Yeah. So now uh, it is saying error illegal arguments type of string. Yeah. So I have not given other arguments. Let me see what is the time. Oh, if you give me 2 more minutes, I'll solve this. I'll have name. I'll have, I'll have user ID. Hmm, I'll have user ID, which is say 123. I'll have email, which is going to be anshul at gmail.com. I'll have user type as customer. There's a problem. Okay, there's no comma here. And I'll have after user type, I will have password. I'll have a password. Let me set password as also 123 456. And finally, I'll have I don't want to send you the status. If I have this body, then I can click on send, and let me see what is the error. Hmm. Oh, I have not started the app. Okay, this is running now. I come here and send. So it is working fine. Yeah. So I'm sorry for that error. I'm sorry, I ignored it. Ekta Kumari has a doubt. Yeah, that is correct, Ekta. Okay, students, I was able to run this. We'll have one more class on this where we are going to discuss about sign in, and then we'll try to complete this. Yeah, I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry. I'll push the code. Sure. Uh, added sign up control. Commit to main. Push origin. Yeah, I have pushed the changes. They'll, yeah, they are there in the repo. You can take it from there. I hope to see you next time. By next time I'll have completed the app. So yeah. Okay. We'll discuss JWT authentication, and we might spend some time discussing the sign-in process, Nilanjan. Okay. Sure. Thanks a lot. I hope to see you in the next class. Bye bye.